Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we're doing a Let's Play and early impressions for Trenches VR, a game released on the Steam store today, October 22nd, 2025. It normally retails for $15. It's on a release sale 15% off. Plus you get an additional discount if you own some of the other VR games listed. I paid a little over $10, so I did buy this game, and I'm testing it out on the Meta Quest 3. I'm sorry, not on the Meta Quest 3. HP Reverb G2. Now, these are the settings. Notice it does have smooth and snap turning available, and you can set your height, and sensitivity means the speed of the turn, as well as the comfort vignette and player arms, or you can take them off. I prefer the player arms. And this is basically the tutorial area. We're not going to go through all that. We're just going to start a new game. So we're going to go ahead and go. And we're going to start a new game. I did do a previous run. But what happened is that I got stuck in an area where, even though I was using the whistle, I wasn't hearing any sound back. So there's two things to know about this game. One is that talking actually, as you can see here, I don't know, can you see this icon here? This lets you know that you can be heard. So technically you're supposed to stay quiet, so I'm probably not going to talk very much as soon as I go even further. Alright, so if you're wondering why am I so quiet, why I'm not making any sounds, it's because this attracts the monsters. The other thing that you know is the whistle. So the whistle, again, we don't hear any sound, that's fine. I'm not going to really read all this stuff, and you can make noise to kind of attract, but we're not really worried about that right now. Now, you make more sound if you run, and this is where you hide, right here. And we're safe. This game does have lots of jump scares, so beware of that. Lots of jump scares. We're not going to read this. We are going to open the door. Sorry, oops. So there's a note over here. It does have like a little distance grab thing. Again, we're not going to read. I've already read it. You can you can play the game if you want to read all this stuff. Now, I can't really see this photo. It says a beheaded and hanged deserter wearing a skirt, mostly done to be humiliated after being killed for going AWOL. But I can't see anything. Like, I don't know. There's some scary photos. Like, that one's very scary. And there's a shoe for some reason. I really don't know why. Alright, let's go. We're gonna be very, very quiet. I do wish this game had a crouch button. Lots of jump scares. If you're prone to heart attacks, if you have heart disease, do not recommend this game. There's a lot of jump scares. I want to say we're safe until we pick up the first baby. It's a little baby doll. So we do have to find the baby doll. Obviously we have to follow the sound, but beware of the enemy. The enemy does make a sound, so I'm feeling pretty safe right now. I think it only begins until you... I think this is where it starts, actually. Now we have to find a knife. lots of jump scares. So this backpack, I don't know why it's causing all these issues. Okay, now I don't hear. Like I said, there's lots of jump scares. So if you have heart disease, any kind of issues, I think it needs a crouch button. Come on, man. Really? Really? Alright. Let's load into the game. Let's see how far we are. Let's see what happens when we load into a game. But that's basically the gameplay, you know. A little hide and seek. I didn't think it was fair the way he caught me, but whatever. It's whatever. Now this time I didn't hear anything. Cool story, bro. Oh, we don't have our knife anymore? Gosh darn it. We lost our knife. We don't have it anymore. I don't think this really helps at all. Yeah, the gun didn't do much, did it? Okay. I think I'll end the video there. This is Trenches VR. It is quite loud. I definitely need to turn down the volume. This just blasted. Like, normally I have my volume pretty low on the headset, but this is pretty loud. So I would definitely recommend lowering the volume on your headset before you start this game. Even though the sound does help, because obviously the spatial audio, you need to figure out where the baby is and where the monster is coming from. But it's just a little bit too loud, especially with some of the jump scares. I think there's probably one too many jump scares. You know, I think they can tone down the jump scares. Just build a little bit of the atmosphere instead. But you know, it is a nice horror game. If I have to rate it, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10, which is a pretty good score for me. I did play the non-VR version, and I didn't like the non-VR version because there were some issues, but technical issues, but those don't seem to exist on the VR version, and it seems to play quite nicely. It is probably one of the best hide-and-seek games in VR just because the spatial audio is good, but like I said, it's probably a little bit too loud by default. So I'd probably lower the volume on your headset before starting this game, and just be prepared for the jump scares. There's quite a few. It is a fun game of basically cat and mouse, where you're trying to find all the dolls and obviously run into safety when you can. Avoid the monster as much as possible. Obviously, you saw the handgun wasn't very useful. I didn't realize how unuseful it was. I don't know what you're supposed to do with the handgun. I heard it does like slow down the enemy, but it didn't seem to slow him down all that much. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. This has been my Let's Play early impressions for Trenches VR. I think for the price, it's a pretty good game, so I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and goodbye.